All right, today we're talking about a director who didn't just make movies. He basically wrote the rule book for them for generations. I mean, from killer sharks to friendly aliens, we're going to break down what makes a Steven Spielberg film, a Spielberg film. Okay, look at this number, $10.75 billion. And no, that's not the value of some tech company. That is the total box office haul for films directed by just one person, Steven Spielberg. It makes him the highest-grossing director in history. And frankly, it's not even close. So the big question is, how? How does one filmmaker achieve that kind of impact? Because it's not just about the money, right? It's about creating a whole cinematic language, one that's evolved over 6 decades. To really get it, we've got to trace his journey as an artist. So our story kicks off in the 70s and 80s. This is the era where Spielberg wasn't just directing films, he was basically inventing a whole new kind of cinematic experience. I mean, just look at this run of films. It's absolutely legendary. It all started in 1975 with Jaws. Think about it, high-concept spectacle, a wide summer release, and that nail-biting tension. He literally created the template for the modern blockbuster. He turned going to the movies into this massive cultural event. And the crazy part, he was just warming up. His style became so influential that it actually got its own name, Amblin-esque. It's that very specific feeling you get from films like E.T. or even The Goonies, which he produced. It's that blend of suburban nostalgia, deep friendship, and just that pure sense of childhood wonder. And you know what? That's the real secret sauce right there. Underneath all the killer sharks and friendly aliens, the emotional core was always deeply, deeply personal. So many of his early films are about kids from fractured families who use their imagination not just to escape, but to actually heal. And that is what made these blockbusters connect with millions. So then we get to the 90s. Spielberg is the undisputed king of popular entertainment, right? And what does he do? He makes this huge, dramatic pivot. He starts using all that filmmaking power to turn the camera towards history, confronting some of humanity's absolute darkest chapters. And this really shows the evolution, doesn't it? The filmmaker who was famous for escapism and wonder all of a sudden started exploring stark realism and historical trauma. He wasn't just entertaining audiences anymore, he was challenging them with films like Amistad and Saving Private Ryan. Now, this massive shift was really defined by one of the most important creative partnerships in modern cinema. It all starts with 1993's Schindler's List. That's when Spielberg began working with cinematographer Janusz Kaminski. And that collaboration has now gone on for over 3 decades and more than 20 films. And you can just hear it in Kaminski's own words. He describes it as a brotherhood. It wasn't just a professional relationship. It was this deep friendship built on a shared, passionate love for movies. And it was that trust that allowed them to go to some incredibly difficult, creative places together. What they developed together was, well, you could call it a respectful visual language. For a story like Schindler's List, they knew that flashy camera moves would feel completely disrespectful to the tragedy. So their style became patient, immersive, and just painfully real. And that choice, it earned Kaminski his first Academy Award. Okay, so we have these 2 really distinct eras, the blockbuster and the prestige film. But what connects them? Let's break down the specific techniques, the signature tools that make any Spielberg film instantly recognizable. The guy is just a master of visual storytelling, communicating so much meaning that goes way beyond what's in the script. From the way he sets a scene with props to how he moves actors around to show shifting relationships, every single element has a purpose. His camera isn't just an observer, it's an active participant in the story. And then, of course, there's his most famous visual signature, the Spielberg face. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. A character, usually a kid, looks up in pure awe and wonder. It's like a visual shortcut that instantly puts us, the audience, right there in that moment of discovery. Which brings us full circle to his most recent work, which finally pulls the curtain all the way back and reveals the why, the personal history behind all these themes and techniques we've been talking about. His 2022 film, The Fabelmans, is kind of like the Rosetta Stone for his entire career. By telling his own story about being a kid processing his parents' divorce through the magic of filmmaking, he reveals the origin of so many of his cinematic obsessions. And suddenly, all those recurring themes of broken homes and finding magic in the suburbs, They just click into place. And this quote from Kaminsky about what it was like filming The Fabelmans, it just shows you how deeply personal this all was. Spielberg wasn't just directing a story, he was reliving it. It reminds us that behind the masterful technician and the savvy businessman, there's a true artist, a poet, who pours his own life into his work. This one final detail from the film just says it all. For a shot where a young Spielberg gets a lesson in framing, the digital camera move was too smooth, too perfect. He actually had the effects team add a kick to it to make it feel more organic, more human. It just shows that even after 6 decades, he is still completely obsessed with the craft of visual storytelling. So he's given us the blockbuster, he's redefined historical drama, and now he's finally told his own story. After laying his life bare on screen and revealing the boy behind the camera, you really have to wonder, what stories are possibly left for the master to tell?